Welcome to Supply Chain Planning Asia, sponsored by Coupa Software. I would like to introduce our speaker Asena Denizeri, who is Head of Retail Solutions at solvvoyo. Asena Denizeri has over 20 years of experience in implementing planning, pricing, and optimization solutions in global companies in the US and Europe. She has led cross-functional teams in large-scale digital transformation projects touching category planning, assortment localization, demand planning, promotion planning, allocation and replenishment, price optimization, and S&OP. Today's session is how the world's fifth fastest-growing retailer tackled COVID-19. It's great to have you here today, Asena. Welcome again. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. Happy to be here. Happy to share this amazing success story by a grocery chain, by a convenience chain based in Turkey, A101, which has been selected as one of the fastest growing retailers in the world. It's ranked number 5 in 2019 based on a Deloitte report. Has sustained its growth since then, and even during COVID has shown outstanding performance. And today I'll share their journey, their digital transformation journey, and how their agility enabled this great success story to continue during COVID times as well. Okay, so as I said, the title of our session is how the world's fifth fastest growing retail tackled COVID-19. I want to refer to a quote by Gartner just in the recent year or two. They were predicting that over the next 5 years, 33% of supply chains anticipate having an autonomously running environment. Now, this case by A101 demonstrated that actually the autonomous running platforms or supply chain planning is not as far as 5 years ahead. They started their digital transformation journey back in 2013. And since then, they've seen amazing results, amazing scalability, and also, of course, went through a significant change in the way they were doing their operations at the store level. So to give you a sense of what their stores are like and what type of products they sell and the layout and so on, I have a little video here today. You'll have a sense of what A101 stores look like. They're not very large. They're a discount convenience store chain, and they offer low-cost products to their customers. But by low cost, don't think that they're offering low-quality products. They actually work with some of the world's biggest suppliers like P&G and Unilever and offer very high quality products as well as their own private labels. As I said, they are growing very fast. They realize about 30% growth per year. They have reached 10,001 stores and they have 50 regional DCs. They have online shopping experience, last mile delivery, e-commerce, and of course, store walk-ins. And they carry about 1,500 regular items on their shelves. But in addition to those, they carry about 8,000 or more in and out items per year. Now, just to give you a sense of where they've come since 2008, when they started with only 121 stores. Now they are exceeded 10,000 stores, and just around 2013, they started their digital transformation journey. And as you can see here, when you compare the growth after 2013 and the before trend, definitely after they've taken steps towards digital transformation, they became a lot agile and scalable, and were able to reach 10,000 stores from 1,800 stores in only 8-9 years. At the same time, they kept opening new DCs, and for about every 200 stores, they continue to open a new DC and map the new stores to that DC, as well as evaluate the current store to DC mapping as part of a network design initiative that they regularly undertake. And as they are offering more and more in and out products, of course, in addition to their regular suppliers, the in and out products are bringing new suppliers as well. So the number of suppliers are growing. So overall, we can see this is growing in all dimensions, and it's definitely requires a lot of scalability and agility in the operations as well as in the planning systems. So the network looks like this. As I said, there are 50 distribution centers. They have a separate e-commerce fulfillment center. These 50 distribution centers serve these 10,000 stores. So as I said, about 200 of them mapped per DC. And during COVID, they've started the home deliveries from these stores. So these stores cover certain zones in neighborhoods, and everyone living within that zone can order from the mobile device and get their deliveries from the store delivered within 1 or 2 hours. And of course, the e-fulfillment center keeps shipping the e-commerce orders to their stores directly. During this growth phase, A101, basically their main focus was to keep the store managers focused on running the stores and making sure that the customers are getting the best experience possible, with very few people working in each store. There are about 3 to 4 people that work in these stores. So they did not want them to be distracted by having to manage forecast sales, safety stocks, figuring out the purchase orders, the replenishment, and so on. So that's one of the priorities, was to automate the daily inventory management related tasks to the extent possible, so the store managers would only spend minimal time taking care of the daily replenishment orders to the stores. Before they started on their digital transformation journey, they were a pool-based replenishment system where the store manager would input for each SKU what they wanted to be delivered to the stores. But they saw that this will continue to take store managers' time away from actually their operational responsibilities. So they wanted to automate that part of the step. And while doing that, they also wanted to ensure that the product availability was high. Since they're a convenience store chain, they don't carry multiple options for a specific product. They really are very limited in their product selection. So every one of the products are very important in terms of being available to their customers at all times. So how did A101 achieve this level of automation? So it was actually a journey. It didn't, of course, happen overnight. And it included steps for going digital, intelligent, and then to autonomous. And all this preparation really geared them up to tackle the challenges of COVID-19 in a very efficient manner. So in their step towards digitalization, of course, they had to do a lot of data integration and data validation. All of the planning process had to be integrated with ERP and also with the handheld devices for store managers to review daily replenishment recommendations. They had to do master data diagnostics. They had to do a lot of cleanup with their inventory data. So it was actually reliable and it could be used to give accurate replenishment recommendations. And they consolidated all of the planning steps and all the planning parameters, assumptions, constraints, operational constraints, business constraints, supplier parameters like lead times or minimum purchase requirements into the same platform. In the intelligence step, they automated the SKU store forecasting and created predictive alerts and diagnostics so they can take proactive action and started using AI, ML, and other quantitative methods to improve the accuracy of the recommendations of the system. And they integrated the process for daily store replenishment and the DC procurement. So those two inventory management steps were actually happening as part of a single process. So they were always consistent, and then the DC procurement was always aware of what the most recent store needs are, as well as, of course, the future predictions of the planning horizon, how the demand is going to shape. So the recommendations are based on how the stores are going to sell over the lead time period, which is most of the time just a couple of days, but it could be also 1 week or 2 weeks. In the autonomous step, as I said, where they're giving recommendations for the daily store replenishment, as well as the purchase orders for the DC replenishment, they installed exception-based process where the decision makers don't have to review every single SKU, every single purchase order, but also only look at a limited number of items where they need to maybe manually interfere. And also having a vertical alignment between the network design solution that is recommending the new DC to store mappings. And since they keep opening a lot of stores and a lot of DCs, and having that more tactical strategic process be integrated with the replenishment system and have the outputs of that network design be automatic inputs to the replenishment process, also help them gain more efficiency as they kept opening more and more stores. So then came the COVID-19, which was, of course, a completely new ball game. Although they were used to manage the daily, challenges of fresh food retailing, they had not seen anything like the COVID-19. Which brought sudden peaks in demand in certain products, as you all know. They also brought variations in supplier lead times. Some of the suppliers were challenged in terms of production capacity or in terms of logistics capacity to make deliveries on the agreed lead time schedules. And also at the same time, the purchasing patterns of the customers were changing. The store openings and closings in Turkey, they kept changing literally from week to week. Daily stock replenishment also had to be adjusted automatically to address those changes. So how they managed? Well, they, in terms of the sudden peaks in certain product categories, they had already built in digitized workflows, diagnostics, alerts, which quickly enabled them to identify where there were significant changes and to take action. With the suppliers, because they were so quick to respond to these demand changes. They were literally the first retailer to start placing their orders with the supplier, so that gave them a competitive edge in terms of being able to secure the supplies coming from the vendors, the distributors, and the manufacturers. With the advanced analytics and machine learning, they adjusted their safety stock levels, knowing which product categories or which DCs they had significant variation in lead times. So they didn't have to wait to see the stockouts. They proactively adjusted the safety stock. So they started first replenishing the DCs at much higher level safety stocks before starting to allocate those additional stocks to the stores. And all of this literally happened within 2 weeks. So they were very fast to react. And with the automatic diagnostics, again, they could immediately see the patterns of store traffic shifting from weekends to weekdays. And they, again, in terms of the daily replenishment quantities and the schedules, they were able to make those changes fairly fast. So in terms of understanding the customer needs and making quick operational adjustments to address those needs, they were also very successful. They did understand quickly that home delivery was going to be very important, because a significant portion of the population, those who are older than 65, they were in lockdown. They couldn't go to the stores, to get their daily needs. So they had to address the needs of those customers through home delivery and making it really easy and fast and affordable. Affordable was also the key, since they are a convenience store chain selling at discount prices. They couldn't expect their segment of customer to start paying big service charges for home convenience. They really lined up their local deliveries to minimize their logistics costs, so they could serve from each store to the neighborhoods around that store. And since, of course, they have 10,000 and more stores, they're literally in every neighborhood. So it doesn't take them a big logistics network to be able to reach their customers' homes in a fairly fast and affordable fashion. Their loyal customers had the assurance that every day they could find what they need on their shelves, so they don't have to go and take big piles of stuff home in fear of running out. And to maximize, of course, the hygiene, they had to minimize interaction. So they set up their delivery process, the home delivery process, to pretty much work touchless. So people only interacted with their mobile app, and they didn't have to do anything else. So all of these really helped them thrive during COVID-19, and they speeded up in general their omnichannel process. It was a fast learning curve for them. It was something that they had started before COVID-19, but on very limited store basis. But during COVID-19, they really rolled this out across the country really fast. So in summary, the process and the approach that enabled agility and resilience during COVID-19 is a 4-step process for them. The detect, adapt, optimize, and strategize steps, all being supported by automation and advanced analytics. So in general, they are a very much a data-driven company. And the results are amazing. While experiencing 50% demand changes in certain categories during COVID-19, there were no stockouts that were significantly impacting their business. Their stockouts went up by only 3% during the worst times of COVID. And they were very stable in terms of their availability of product, thanks to all the proactive actions that they've taken with their vendors and suppliers. And they, through the very pragmatic approach to last mile delivery operations, by making them available very fast and efficiently, they maintain their fast growth during these challenging times as well. While doing all this, in the last 8 years, they've been using the solvvoyo planning and analytics platform for forecasting, purchasing, and daily store replenishment. solvvoyo is a cloud-based end-to-end supply chain planning and analytics platform. We provide basically all of the planning and decision support capabilities pretty much you can imagine in terms of supply chain planning. And also through integration with internal and external data sources, we make it very easy and fast to do advanced analytics and support data-driven decisions. We are a very scalable platform, cloud native processes, and an affordable platform that is fast to deploy. Our deployments usually take about 3 to 4 months. So that's quickly, a case study, A101, taking advantage of advanced analytics, bringing digital transformation to their supply chain planning processes, and making a great success story during COVID-19. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. Please write them in the chat box below. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing your insights. It was really interesting. Once again, I wanted to quickly remind you that you can ask questions at any time using the comment section located at the bottom of the screen. The speaker is here and will answer all your questions on the day of the event and also after during the replays. I see that some of you are asking questions already, so go ahead. One more thing, don't forget to join us on chain.net, our social network focused on supply chain management in Asia. You will find a group discussion specifically around the topics of this event. You should have already received an email invitation, but if you did not, please visit our group section on chain.net. That's all for me. Thanks again for attending. See you next time.